Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Club. This is the place everyday real estate investors gather to share their best stories, biggest insights, and favorite tactics to grow a portfolio of cash-flowing properties in today's market. Here's your host, Gabe Petersen.
All right, we are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys are having a great week, great day, wherever you are and whatever day it is for you. We're talking at you from January 9th, so the first week into the year. I've been hitting it hard. We got 2 deals under contract this very week. One of them is super unique. I might have to do a individual podcast episode for that one. So it's a good year so far, and I'm really excited. I hope it's going well for you guys too. But it's a good day for a second reason. Tripping over my words here, because we have Dani Lynn Robison with us on the show from Freedom Family Investments. Dani does all kinds of stuff. If you can name it, I'm sure she does it. Senior living, multifamily, medical office, mobile home park, storage, you name it, she does it. But she has a special place in her heart for multifamily. So that's probably what we're going to be talking about today. So if that's something you guys are interested in, stick around and let's hear how her story unfolds. Dani, thanks for hopping on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Gabe. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. I told you before we got on here, we always like to start with stories. We like to hear how people got to where they are. So why don't you take us back to the beginning of your story in real estate and just tell us how you got here?
Absolutely. So my husband and I are both musicians, and we worked at Walt Disney World. We went to college in Florida. We worked on cruise ships, got married, and then pursued art auctions on cruise ships, and then got promoted to land. I know, it's crazy. And then we're traveling all across the United States doing art auctions where we're selling Picassos and Chagalls and Dalis. And it was just, it was extraordinary. But there came a point where I was like, well, what do I really want to do for the rest of my life? Because this was fun and all, but cruise ships was like college on water. So it was an experience and an adventure. And when I decided to pursue the next career, I was choosing real estate, mergers and acquisitions, financial services, and the mortgage industry. Those are the things that I was just interested in. And I wasn't sure exactly which path was going to take me where I wanted to go. So I went into financial services first, and I give everything a year. I said, just do it for a year and see what you think. And after a year, it was great. I learned a lot, but I didn't love it. So then I went in the mortgage industry. Great, learned a lot, didn't love it. And mergers and acquisitions, I actually didn't do a full year. It was like 90 days. It was okay, but yeah. Just that was enough of a stint that I was like, okay, no. But it was 2008 when I got into real estate, became a realtor. Yes. And so it took us 8 months to get our very first deal. It was a short sale, of course, because of the market and what was going on. And I really understood that I don't want to be a realtor. I don't want to be on somebody else's timeline and their decisions. Sellers were unreasonable. It was a bad market anyway. It was hard to do anything. And so my broker was interested in real estate investing. And so we said, hey, why don't we go ahead and just interview some people who do this type of thing, and let's find a mentor and let's learn how to do this for ourselves. And because I loved real estate, I did figure that I was like, this I have a passion for. I just don't want to do it as a realtor. And so we found a mentor there in Austin, Texas. And he was a multimillionaire, and he had done it through real estate. And so this was the guy that we were going to learn from. And I'm a very left brain, so I'm very data oriented. So is he. He taught 12 different ways to buy and sell real estate. And I thought, okay, for sure, we can learn all these different ways to buy and sell. And one of them is going to be something that we really, really love. And so there was 5 of us. We all went through that mentorship together. It really helped us, gain traction and hold each other accountable. We ended up being one of his star students. He ended up taking us on the road to tell everybody, look, my program works. These guys did it. And so it was really great, but that was our start back in 2008. And we really tied into subject to wraps, mortgage assignments. That's really the strategy. Short sales, that's a strategy that we ran with at the very beginning just because of the market and where it was at.
Nice, man. That is a story, and I love it because every guest, we always ask them how they got started, and it's all different. So anybody who feels like they're in a place in life where they've chosen their paths and they can't get into real estate, that is just not the case. Every single guest comes on here starting as a musician, going to cruise ships, and then art auctions. That is so random, has nothing to do with real estate, and yet here you are crushing it. So. I just like that. I want to call it out and just kind of point it out to anybody out there who wants to get into real estate. You can do it. Anybody can. So that's really interesting. You mentioned one thing. Another thing I wanted to kind of point out is you mentioned mentorship. That was kind of one of the things that really started your career in real estate. And I always not push people, but I suggest if you really want to accelerate your career in real estate, learn from somebody who's done it, not somebody who is getting started like you, but somebody who has actually done it and has achieved what you want to achieve. If you can get into a mentorship program with them, or even start some way, contribute to their career, to their business, so to where they can actually instruct you on what they're doing. That's the quickest way to get into real estate. So I like that you did that. You did mention 5 of us. Did you start as a partnership, or was that or kind of go into a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it was my husband and I. We were both realtors. We both got our license, and our broker, it was her husband. And then we had met somebody along the way who was also very passionate about real estate. And we thought, why don't all of us just do this together? Because then we can divide and conquer, and we can, as we go out there, we are doing, how you say driving for dollars. It was walking for dollars. We were like canvassing neighborhoods, putting flyers on doors.
This is in Austin?
Yes, this was in Austin. Yes.
Oh, so the perfect metro to be doing this.
Yeah.
You guys are right at the right at the beginning of the hockey stick.
Exactly right. So as we did that, we thought it really would help our learning curve, because as we all went out and we all had conversations, we could tell each other about the wins of the day and the things that we learned. And so it just sped things up for us. So we didn't all have to experience the exact same thing. And we learned from each other, and just having the ability to talk with somebody else. That's where the mentorship really comes in, and be able to just say, hey, this is what happened. And it's harder to give up when you're starting something brand new, when you have that circle of trust around you, and you can get that feedback.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did. So yeah, you had kind of both elements. You had the mentorship, the person who's already done it, they can teach you how to do it. Then you also had the peer group, the people around you who are doing the same thing, can kind of understand the struggles you're going through, and get you motivated to keep going. So that's a good combination there. So I understand how you've achieved the success that you have. So you stopped off at this story. It was 2008. You guys were getting into sub twos and wraps. That's not how you ended the story, though. You guys went on to the commercial side, which is where I'm at. I buy mobile home parks, RV parks, self-storage facilities. And I always suggest people get into commercial as fast as they can, because it is a great world over here. So tell us, how did you kind of transition from the sub to, the creative financing residential deals to where you are today?
Absolutely. So at that time we were in Austin, Texas, and we ended up traveling to different places. We did deals there in Texas, loved Texas. We also partnered with an attorney and started doing deals nationally. We moved to Arizona to be closer to my mom, because she was getting up in age and went into the ICU at some point. Then we moved back to Texas, and then ultimately we moved to Ohio. And it was that Ohio move where we started building our family of companies, and we did it through single family real estate, because number one, it was the network that I was in, and it was what they were doing. And I just wanted to build something big. I knew volume was part of it. I just knew it had to be something big. That was what I was passionate about. So we did turnkey real estate, because I'm very passionate about doing something that's going to create freedom for my own life, but taking other people on the ride with me. I love doing things together. And so turnkey allowed us to start building our own portfolio, find the deals, rehab the deals. We had a property management company. We still do. It allowed us to then sell it to people who had a full-time job, understood the power of building wealth through real estate, but didn't have time to do it themselves. And they wanted a single family rental property. I'm
going to pause you really quick right there. And I want you to go a little bit further, just 1 or 2 layers deeper into that strategy of turnkey, because it's something unique. And we've had other guests that kind of talk about this, but it is something, especially if you're in those metros like Ohio, in the Midwest, where you can really churn out a business like this. So tell everybody listening, what is that strategy? Hey guys, quick break from the show. If you've listened to this podcast before, you know we are always talking about how important it is to have the right mentors and partners in real estate, which is exactly why I've opened up the Real Estate Investing Club online community. It's a place for active investors to learn, collaborate, and get real deals done together. And right now, it is 100% free to join. We host weekly calls where we review deals, talk strategy, and share tactics. Just click the link in the description below and come join us.
Yeah, so it's really a done-for-you rental property. So what we did is we went and found the property. We had a renovation company, so we renovated it, and then we turned it over to property management to place a tenant in it. Now it's cash flowing property, and then we sold it to an investor who had a job, who wanted to be a landlord, to build wealth through real estate, but didn't have the time to do it for themselves. So done-for-you rental is like the easiest way for me to describe what a turnkey property is. And so we built that business. The problem going in is that we didn't know that we were going to have to vertically integrate. Like we were outsourcing to other contractors. We were outsourcing to property management. Yeah. And all of that stuff, if you've been in real estate, you just know that it's hard. That's why your point about hiring a mentor, it's most important in real estate. This is a hard place to make money, and people think it's easy, and it's not. You need to find somebody with experience who's made all the mistakes, who's been screwed. Sorry, it's just part of life in real estate. And so that you can ride their ride and borrow their trust, borrow their experience to get to where you want to go. And then there's a point in time where you're like, okay, I can go off on my own. But using somebody else's experience is really important. So, but what we learned about turnkey real estate is that here's these doctors and these lawyers and these high net worth people who are buying properties from us, and they don't realize that owning a rental property is still a job. Like you still have to approve the tenants, you still have to approve repairs, you still have to oversee the property management company, making sure that they're giving you the right financials. If you only own one, then you still have vacancies, you still have the renovations when it is vacant, so it's not always cash flowing. And that was kind of like I wanted something passive, and this is not as passive as I wanted it to be. Yeah. And so I really love taking other people on the ride, but I was like, I'm not really serving them in the best way that I could. Enter multifamily.
Yeah, so I'm going to pause you right there. For people who are listening, I want to reiterate what Dani said. Real estate is not passive. Everybody says that. A lot of people on YouTube say that real estate is a passive game. It's not. The only way to do real estate passively is to be an LP in deals, and so that is the way that you can achieve passive investments. And limited LP means limited partner. It's just putting your money in somebody else's deal, letting them run the deal. And that is the way to do passive investing in real estate. But if you're buying your own real estate, you're starting a business. So never think of it as a passive investment. All right, Dani, sorry about that. You were talking about multifamily. Keep going.
Yes. So as we were doing turnkey real estate, we landed on a deal where this guy had like 12 single family and then 3 duplexes. And then he also had a 58 unit or 56 unit apartment complex. And so we're like, we don't do apartments, so we're going to wholesale this. So we bought the 15 and then we had all of these under contract. He would only sell them as a package. And so we're like, okay, so we had to find our end buyer for the apartment complex. We did. And so we're setting closing date. This is during and approaching COVID. And so the lending got delayed, so we had to wait. It came to a point where the seller was getting frustrated because we weren't closing. We were getting frustrated because that was 15 properties that we wanted to close on and we couldn't. And so then the person we were wholesaling it to would try to squeeze us out of the deal. And so ultimately I told my husband, he's like, they want to buy it, but they want to buy it for our contract price. And I was like, no, we're just going to buy it ourselves. Forget it. And so we did.
That's so funny when people, we've had people do that. And wholesaling, really, you guys, it's just for everybody who's new, it's just getting a contract under a property under contract and then assigning that and signing that to another buyer. So you're assigning your rights in that contract to a new person and then adding a small fee on top of that. And so you're basically taking the spread between the assignment contract and and the purchase contract. And there are people out there who, they see an assignment and they just don't see the value that has been brought to the table already by the person who has found the deal. And that is the hard part, is actually finding a deal, getting it under contract. So if you're ever buying something from a wholesaler, don't try to squeeze them out of the deal. They've already done a lot of work and they do deserve the assignment fee. So anyways, keep going. That sucks that happened to you guys, but it sounds like it turned out well.
Yeah, I was actually saying it was a gift in disguise because I wasn't having it, and so I said we're going to buy it ourselves. I was new to, I didn't understand the fund and syndication world at the time, so I only understood private money lending. We had millions of dollars in private money lending that we would use to buy these properties, rehab them, and sell them. And so I thought, okay, how am I going to buy this apartment complex? Okay, so I talked to my private money lenders, and I said, you're going to be one loan per building. So there was 4 buildings, so I had 4 private money lenders who lent on this property in order for us to buy it. And so we did. And that experience, I told you before we started the recording, that we nicknamed that one Drugs, Thugs, and Bugs. Because by the time that we actually bought the property, everybody was frustrated. So we told the seller, I said, look, we're going to buy it ourselves. We're not going to deal with this buyer anymore. And we will close in 2 weeks. So we got our private money lenders in place. We got our inspectors out there. We got everybody. And we just went as fast as possible in order to do everything we could do. We brought on partners to have 10% of that deal so that they could, again, guide us because they had done apartments. And we just needed that second set of eyes because we knew that we could do all that. We were vertically integrated. It was our backyard. We knew we could do it, but we didn't know what we didn't know. So we partnered with them to do the due diligence.
I'm going to pause you on that because that is a great strategy. And I just want to put a little bit more emphasis on it. So you brought on partners, gave them equity just so that you could get their knowledge. And so if you guys are, if you're entering a new asset class, even if you have experience in real estate, you've bought a ton of single family, now you want to buy industrial, now you want to buy mobile home park, self-storage, anything. Every single different asset operates differently. And so you need to be able to understand how it operates in order to get the highest return on it. And what Dani did there, you're bringing in an external partner who has a ton of experience in whatever asset, give them some equity for their knowledge, and then you can kind of go around the mistakes that most newbies who don't have experience, who don't have a mentor on their team usually run into because you got this person who you gave a little bit of equity for their knowledge. And I love that you did that. That's a really good strategy. Just wanted to call that out.
Yes, I love that you did. I love that you describe and explain certain things in your podcast. It's fantastic. So we went through that. It turns out that there was a lot of tenants that were in this property that were drug users, and it was because the senior gentleman who had hired somebody to manage the property, he was a drug dealer. And so he actually went to like Section 8 type programs, subsidy programs, and got people out of rehab, then put them back on drugs, took their their subsidy payments and had them written over to him. It was the craziest story. When we got keys at closing, none of them worked. So he just tried to screw us every single way possible. And we didn't even really understand the story until we got in. But we just, go ahead.
I'll say on that topic, sometimes it's really hard to know. I feel like I'm a good judge of character, but sometimes it's really hard to know whether a person is a good person or not. Even when you've put them through the hiring process, you've had so many conversations with them and you feel like they are a good person, you never really know. And so something like this can easily pop up at you. And all of a sudden you're like, wow, you've been screwing us for 6 months. That's ridiculous. But you just gotta, I guess the lesson is just to be aware of everybody that's on your team. And if something seems fishy, if a red flag pops up, act on it quickly because you don't want that to spiral out.
Yes, 100%. And I was just before I got on this call with you, we're getting ready for a TEDx talk and we were talking about the power of chaos. And I think that's what's going to be our topic. And I think that is important when you're in real estate is to have the resilience and tenacity to just keep on going. Because our partners didn't even realize all of this stuff was going on, but we were vertically integrated, right? We had we had our renovations team there. We had our property management team there. It was all hands on deck and everybody was navigating exactly how we were going to strategize it. And so we had a whole business plan. We implemented and executed on the business plan. And it was because we just had a really, really strong team. And we always knew we had those partners in our back corner if something showed up that we felt like we couldn't tackle. And that alone, when you're in the middle of chaos and you're driving and navigating, that peace of mind of having the mentor or that partner means everything to a deal. So that deal, like I was in. The economies of scale was like, it just taught me this lesson that I was like, I don't want to do single family anymore. This is the avenue that I want to go down. We entered into senior housing and self-storage and asset classes like you talked about at the very beginning, because we really believe in needs-based essential real estate in the economy that we're in right now. A lot of people are fearful, but when people are paying you something, they're paying rent first, right? They're paying senior housing bills first. They're paying for food. They're paying for survival and living and self-storage. People think they really, really need self-storage. That is actually a bill they pay before they'll pay something else like TV or Netflix or whatever else. So it's finding those asset classes where you are the priority no matter the economy. That's what we believe in, and that's where we've gone. And I know that you've gone the same way because I heard you at the beginning of the podcast.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, I love your story. It really goes to show the resilience, and then also how much you guys have partnered throughout your career to kind of get the knowledge that you were missing. And I really like to hear that. So you have, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, you do have experience in a lot of different asset classes: senior living, multifamily, medical, mobile home parks, storage, et cetera, et cetera. So up to this point, you guys have kind of settled on one that is your bread and butter. Go through that, and why did you make that decision?
Yeah, multifamily was our bread and butter because it was a transition. It was really that 56 unit that brought us there. And the transition from single family to multifamily was very easy, right? It's like, it wasn't difficult for us to navigate, and it was in our backyard. So our portfolio is full of multifamily, and then senior housing was the next step. And what we've done and what we believe in is partnering with best in class operators. When you get in the syndication and fund world, it's a team sport. And as long as you're partnering with the best of the best, and you're finding the people who have navigated bad market cycles, who have been there through the thick and the thin, who have shown that they don't run away, that they know how to have chaos come at them, and they can navigate, and they can make good, decisions for them, the company, and the investors. Those are the type of people that we just vet really well. And we say, hey, you're the type of person, you have the type of character that I believe in. You're the type of person I want to partner with. And those are the operators that we go forward with, so that we can enter asset classes that we don't have to be the expert. I don't want to be the expert in everything. I can't be the expert in everything. And I don't think anybody should. I want to be an expert at doing what I do best. And that is bringing investors to the table and knowing that they have a team. Our fund manager has been in a family office, has managed over $1 billion of in assets in the real estate space and $2 billion credit funds. That's the type of people you surround yourself with. And that's what I believe in. It's a team sport. Let's have fun. Let's do it, and let's do it well. And let's all win.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Well, hey, we have already run down the clock. We're past the 20-minute mark. So it is time to jump into the quick question round. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
All right. It starts with education. It could be any form. It could be a book, a movie, a conference you've gone to, a mentorship program you've been a part of. But I just need one recommendation that you can give to the listeners regarding real estate.
For real estate, just like anything, I always look for mentors. And as I was growing my companies, I looked for another mentor, and his name is Bill Allen. And I interviewed a lot of people, and I've been a part of a lot of masterminds. And Bill Allen happens just to be one of the people that has great character and that I trust, and that I would, do anything with. So he would be my number one recommendation.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Next question is about not lessons learned. This is for your younger self. Let's go back to the Dani who was just getting started back in 2008. She was deciding between all those different careers: financial services, mortgages, M&A, yada, yada. Go back to her, look her in the eye, give her one piece of advice moving forward.
I would say trust yourself and lean into joy. Whatever it is that makes you happy is typically your superpower. And if you just trust your instincts, then you're usually going to be on the right path. Surround yourselves with the right people. And if they're listening to this podcast, they really like Gabe. So that's what I love.
Lean into joy. I like that. Nobody said that yet on the podcast. And I like that. The way you say that. Lean into joy and trust yourself. Good advice. All right, next question is about the U.S. It's a big place. There is a lot of opportunity out there. Give me the single metro you're most excited about investing in today.
Yeah, so I really love our backyard. I love our backyard of Dayton, Cincinnati, Ohio area. It has proven over the years to be very, very resilient. We know it very well. Cincinnati and Dayton are both growing. Columbus is growing even more so than that. So the fact that we've got hands on deck, it's just one of my favorite markets if I was going to choose one.
Nice. Yeah. In Dayton, I think it's the rent to price ratio. One of those ratios, I think it's rent to price is like one of the best in the country. It's crazy.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yes. And that's like the little hidden gem in between Columbus and Cincinnati.
Nice. All right. Next question is about finding deals. It all starts with getting in contact with the seller and penning that purchase agreement. So what is your favorite way to generate leads and find new deals?
It's networking and it's collaborating. It's meeting people like you, right? The bigger our network, the more we surround ourselves with people that have great character and are on the same path with us. We ultimately find the deals. The deals come to us, and that's just the great thing about having that mindset of let's all just help each other grow.
Nice, I love it. All right. Next question is about lessons learned. You've been in a lot of deals and not every deal goes the way we expect it. In fact, pretty much every time something is going to go wrong. And that's when we get to learn a lesson. So what was a deal that went a little bit sideways for you? And then what was the lesson you pulled from it?
I would say it's the 56 unit. That was the hardest deal I've ever done in my entire life. And we got through it because it was a never give up attitude. We all came here to win. And having that refuse to lose mindset just keeps you on the path. And, I don't know who says it, but life is hard. Choose your hard. But that's something that plays in my mind. I could be complaining about where I'm at in life right now and all the problems are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, or I can be appreciative that I have the opportunity to be where I'm at right now and have all the things going on that I have right now and know that I'm going to have a problem whether I'm poor or I'm going to have a problem whether I'm rich and wealthy. And I get to choose which one of those I'm most passionate about and I want to live in.
Nice. I like that. Life is hard. Choose your hard. That sounds like a Brian Tracy or Zig Ziglar kind of phrase. That's good.
That's right.
All right. On the other side of that, on the other side of lessons learned, sometimes things do go right. And that those kind of deals stand out in your mind as your favorite. It's your highlight reel. Take us back to the single deal that stands out as your favorite.
It is the same one. Have you ever heard the saying that your superpower is typically your kryptonite? That the 56 unit is the worst and the best because it ended up being a home run deal for us. And it got us into this space. It gave us a lot of confidence, gave us a lot of trust in our process and ability to face really hard things and drive through them and still make it a success. That really took us to brand new heights. And I think anything that you do that's really, really hard is probably one of your best stories.
Nice. I like that. All right. Let's see. We're going down to the next question. And this one is a new question we've been asking recently. I am a huge proponent of AI. I implement it in as many places as I responsibly can in my business. So I always like to ask guests, how are you using AI in your business? If you are, and then how can you suggest people do the same?
Yeah. So I use AI to brainstorm. That's probably the number one thing because my patterns and things that I recognize and things that I see are inherently based upon how I was raised and what I've experienced in life. And I'm not always going to think of things that maybe if you and I were brainstorming, are going to think of. And so ChatGPT or whatever AI I'm using gets to be that like bounce, that sounding board of, hey, here's my idea. Tell me what's bad. Tell me what's good. Give me more ideas. And it allows you not to have to do it in human style. What I don't like about AI is it's not always trustworthy. And there's something about the brain that is way more reliable and creative. Yeah. So I don't use it for everything, but I think that's been the most powerful use. The other thing I will say that's really changing our team is being able to take emails and brain dump fast, throw it into ChatGPT, have it rewrite it so it flows better, so it's clearer, so it has that clarity and instructions where people aren't going, I don't understand what you were wanting me to do.
I actually really, I have, I've done a lot with AI, but that's only something I've recently been doing is I just literally just talking to the mic and I'm like, this is what I want to say. Turn this into something that somebody would actually understand. Because when I have ideas, they just come out as like a jumble. And it's just, I'm trying to piece them together while I'm talking. And so if I could just shoot it into AI, have them make it sound good. And then I can actually have an email that I can send out.
That's right.
Good use. I like that. All right. And that leads us to the very last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. This is a two-parter. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
Absolutely. So go to freedomfamilyinvestments.com and just, check us out, learn more about us. If you go to chatwithfreedom.com, it's the fast track to actually get on a call with us. And if you get on a call with us, if you want to talk active investing and things like that, that's really going to be up my lane. So you're just going to have to tell the team that you want to talk to me. And it might not be incredibly easy. But if you love passive investing and you want to learn about investment opportunities like Gabe, you talked about the LP, that's what I love now is really allowing people to invest passively. But I'm on both sides, right? Just like you. I love active and I love passive. So chatwithfreedom.com will get you to our team. They can talk you through finding your freedom number, talk you through what we do. We just love helping people any way, shape, or form. That's it.
Nice. I love it. I will put that link in the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out, all you got to do is click the little more in the description. It's going to pull down that full description, and in there you can find Dani's links. All right. That wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gabe. It was a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. For everybody who's with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, just leave us a review, a comment, anything like that. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. All right, before I officially sign off, I have a quick announcement to make. If you're interested in becoming a passive investor in one of my deals, my own company, Kaizen Properties, is looking for capital partners for our upcoming projects. We invest in what are known as recession-resistant assets, mainly self-storage facilities, mobile home and RV parks, and industrial properties. If you're interested in investing and would like to learn a little bit more about my company, our investing criteria, and some of the previous projects we've done, go to the Real Estate Investing Club podcast at therealestateinvestingclub.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Click on the Invest With Us button. That'll pop up the investor form. Fill that out, and we will reach back out to you as soon as we can. Or if you prefer a little bit more of a personal touch, you can reach out to me at Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. So really, that is it. Again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.